No.
Oh shit. Can't see anything.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon. Okay,
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
good afternoon. We're getting ready to start the calendar for today, Tuesday, June 20th. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to begin the Fulton County State Court Expedited Accusations calendar. This is a calendar for cases in which individuals have recently been arrested and charged with certain misdemeanor offenses. Soon after their arrest, Fulton County Solicitor General has already accused the cases of the offenses brought against them, and the case has been bound over to the Fulton County State Court. Nevertheless, this will usually be the defendant's initial appearance before a state court judge. So we are able to address several matters, including bond, arraignment, and possible plea offers if one has been made by the state at this juncture. I'm going to begin by advising everyone that and it may be in the chat, I don't know, the SAP reset date.
Yes, Judge, it's in the chat. It's going to be July the 6th, since July the 4th is a holiday. So the case is reset to that Thursday, July the 6th, SAP County.
Thank you. All right. And want to also advise everyone that this whole entire proceeding is being live streamed as well as recorded, live streamed on YouTube as well as recorded. Want to remind the defendants on this calendar that you have certain constitutional rights. The first being that you have a right to remain silent. Anything that you say about your case, the facts, circumstances can and will be held against you. So listen to your attorneys. You also have a right to have an attorney to represent you at this juncture, and you should know who they are by now. Who do we have first, deputies?
Hey, this is Officer Blunt on 3 South. I have Miss McLeod, client up here. Is it a possibility we can do a breakout session so she can interview him?
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. Can you make that? Who's Zoom master?
It will be
Miss
Ms.
Grace,
Grace.
Judge, I'm doing it right
Oh,
now.
Miss Grace. Okay. Thank you.
Your Honor, we do have a need for a Spanish interpreter, and yet I do not see any announcement for a Spanish interpreter, whether she was available or not. So I just wanted to let you know. And then there
Okay.
are 2 inmates I still have to interview.
Okay. Who do you need to interview, PD Kim?
That will be position 16, Browntree, and position 22, Weathersby.
Okay. And you need those are not the ones with the interpreter.
Correct, Your Honor. They are not with the interpreter. So I called the jail, and yet it seems like jail has been very busy.
Right. Which
So they can
case?
call me anytime.
Right. Which case do you need the interpreter?
Client that's on 3 South. That's the one that's on 3 South now.
That needs the interpreter?
No, Weathersby does not need the interpreter, but I thought he needed a conflict.
No, she said she needed to interview him.
Yeah, I thought it was a conflict.
Oh, is it a conflict case, PD Kim?
I didn't think so, Your Honor. I'll double check. Let me quickly double check, Your Honor. I apologize.
Yes.
No, it is not conflict, Your Honor. Walker is conflict.
Okay.
So we're gonna have to get McLeod out of that breakout on 3 South, because that's Ms. Kim's client.
Mm-hmm. Ms. Kim, which case is for the interpreter? Which case you need
Yes,
the interpreter?
15,
10?
Rodrigue,
Okay. No,
position 15.
oh, 15. 10 and 15 or just 15?
Just 15, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Louis, we making sure that Mr.
We're working on it now, just for an interpreter to come online.
Jordan, couldn't think of his last name. Thank you. All right, you ready to start otherwise?
And Your Honor, we're on our way to get Roundtree to bring her to courtroom 2.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, it's just a little bit of image issues. We're gonna try to bring her around.
All right. And PD Wills, so we can reset that because I don't know what else to do, nor with the jail know.
I'm gonna bring her around.
Okay, if not, then you can sign from he probably won't sign a waiver either. We just have to reset it.
Mr. James
okay.
has been incarcerated since June 14th.
Ooh,
Yeah, so we will need to proceed today.
gotcha.
Your Honor, I have Derek Howard here, and he was saying that he would try to talk to Mr. Aaron James.
Good.
So we're gonna hold off on Mr. James for a minute,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah, that'll be great. See if he can talk to him.
All right. And in front of you right now, we have position number 14, Mr. Matthew Mullins.
Okay. This is 23 CR 0038888E, Matthew Mullins, charged with 1 count of battery family violence, pretrial.
11 total. Last arrest was April 2022.
This meeting is being recorded.
Sale of marijuana, possession of a firearm or knife during the commission, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. That's 22 CP 207984. On first offender probation for ag assault, 4 counts, 19 SC 165487. In March 2020, they gave him 18 months. And then 3 years, 6 months for probation. That's it.
Okay. State.
Yes, Your Honor. This happened June 10th, 2023 at 6420 Buckhurst Trail in South Fulton. Officer spoke to Maisha Pearson, who is here on the line today. She stated she was in a verbal dispute with the defendant, her husband, and she stated to the police that she asked him to leave, and he did, but then the defendant came back to the residence, grabbed Miss Pearson around the neck with both hands and applied pressure, resulting in a scratch to her neck. She also told the officers that the defendant then grabbed a long black and red gun and left the residence. The officers did observe a bloody laceration, a small bloody laceration to the right side of Miss Pearson's neck. I would like to point out that this defendant is not permitted to own firearms under that 19 SC 165487 case, where he is sentenced under first offender for 4 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, 4 counts of possession of a firearm during commission of a felony, theft and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. He is currently serving a 25-year suspended sentence on that case. He also has that 22 CP 207984 case that pretrial mentioned for possession with intent to distribute and possession of a firearm during commission of a felony and by a first offender, as well as he is wanted out of Clarksville, Arkansas, according to his GCIC for money laundering. The warrant date on that is February 23rd, 2022. We have had a chance to speak with Ms. Pearson about the incident. She did acknowledge and confirm the events in the warrant. She also stated the defendant placed his hands around her neck, but she stated she could breathe and the incident happened very quickly. She further stated she wants contact. However, the state is concerned about this case, especially in light of the defendant's open aggravated assault case, where he is currently serving as a first offender for, again, aggravated assault, cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. We are concerned about the risk of reoffense and the fact that this defendant has a violent history. We are requesting a $5,000 surety bond for that reason. No further contact with Maisha Pearson. Stay away from 6420 Buckhurst Trail in South Fulton. No alcohol, drugs, and weapons. At this time, we would like to sound from Miss Maisha Pearson.
Ms. Pearson? Ms. Pearson?
Yes.
Do you wish to address the court today?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you for being here. All right. I am going to.
Yes, Your Honor, I would like to
I'm
defend.
sorry. Thank you, PD Kim.
No
You
problem.
know,
Your
I've been
Honor.
rushing because I had the morning calendar and I was rushing to get back on, so I apologize.
No problem, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Mr. Matthew Mullins, Your Honor, he is 32 years old and they are married, live together with 6 kids, Your Honor, and they're all minors. He has been working as he does sell different items and floor waxings. He has done door dashes, and yet his income is not sufficient to support fully his wife and 6 kids. So he is qualified for public defender services, even though he is doing all kinds of hustle jobs to make a means to take care of his children. Your Honor, he left that incident date, the premises, the marital property, and went to the hotel. He says that there was his sister who could be a witness about this incident, and yet she's not on the Zoom hearing, even though I try to reach her to be the witness who could say that my client was innocent. However, she's not here yet. We would like to request for a signature on bond since this happened about a week, 10 days ago. Ever since that incident, they are together again and they are trying to build up their families together. So we would like to request for no further violent contact. And if Your Honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond, we would like to request for $1,000 maximum good bond. And he says that the one in the past history, the one about the aggravated assault, it happened at East Point with cousin who was extremely bitter about his situation. So he felt like that he was falsely accused. And this time he clearly denies the allegation. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. And who did you say was a witness that's not on the call?
His sister, we do have her phone number, and I try to send the link to her so that way she was the one who actually also had an interaction with Miss Pearson, and my client wanted to just break out two ladies, and there was a misunderstanding while he was trying to break out the fight among them.
All right, I'm going to order the $5,000 surety bond. I'm going to order, I know that there may or may not have been the ample cooling down period. I am a little concerned about the allegations, and I'm not sure why it took this amount of time on the arrest. And do we know why Deputy Falk, or just?
Your Honor, I'm not sure why. It does not appear that the defendant was at the residence by the time police arrived, at which point what would normally happen in that instance is a warrant would be taken out, and then when the marshal service gets around to serving the warrant, they do. Let me just go back and double check the case documents just to make absolutely sure. Yes, it does say there were no witnesses available at the scene, and it does not indicate that the defendant was at the scene at the time. And so the warrant was taken out the following day on the 11th, and then the defendant was picked up from that point.
Right. Okay. All right, I'm going to order the $5,000 surety bond. I'm going to order a stay away from 6420 Buckhurst Trail, South Fulton. I'm going to order at this time no further contact with the victim. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And if there's to be any visitation with the children, that be facilitated by a third party so that there is no violations of the stay away and no further contact with the bond conditions. And I think that'll be it for now.
No.
Your Honor, can he have a one-time law enforcement officer escort visit to retrieve his personal belongings?
Yes, I will allow one-time police escort back to the premises to retrieve his personal belongings.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. I do see the interpreter has signed on. Can we do a breakout or good morning? I mean, good afternoon, as to where she needs to be or how we can do a breakout for that interview? And it's PD Kim's case, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, once I get another officer inside the courtroom, I'll try to bring the Spanish interpreter over to courtroom 3.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
I'll let you guys know.
Okay.
Can we do the breakout with Ms. Kim and this client up here on 3 South?
Yeah, that's one of the fees. That's fee, Your Honor, what we're talking about.
Yes,
Ms. Kim's client.
yes.
We could work around that, and I'll just go through some of the conflict cases.
Okay, great. Appreciate it.
We can go to position number 4, Ms. Demia Andrews.
All right. All right, this is 23 CR 003898F. Demia Andrews, charged of 1 count of simple battery, family violence, pretrial.
Third adult arrest. Last arrest was in February 2022. Riot in penal institution. Well, resisting an officer of the law in a penal institution. I'll take that back. And DeKalb County disorderly conduct. That's it.
All right, stay.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. The state brought a charge for a simple battery for an incident that occurred yesterday, June 19th. It is cross-warranted with the next case. Samuel Beaver is the victim. The location was 201 Maury Avenue, Atlanta. And Miss Andrews was in an apartment with her mother and the victim, Mr. Beaver, who is her mother's boyfriend. She became irate at the victim when he entered a bedroom that she and her mother were in. Andrews then struck him in the face, chest, and hand. She does have several somewhat violent history. For that reason, we're asking for $3,000 signature bond through PTS, no further contact with Mr. Samuel Beaver, a stay away from that apartment, 201 Maury Avenue, apartment 1416, an anger management class, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. And nothing further from the state.
All right, and that was a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. Go ahead, Ms. McLeod.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good
My
afternoon.
client is 29 years old. She tells me that she is the victim in this case. She was the one who called the police because her mother's boyfriend raped her, and she called the police to report the rape. She says any injuries she may have had would have been self-inflicted. We are happy with the signature bond, Your Honor, but I just wanted to put that on the record.
Okay. All right. I will order the $3,000 signature bond through pretrial. I'm going to order no further contact with the victim, Samuel Beaver. I'm going to And before I say this on the stay away, does Mr. Beaver live at the Maury Avenue address? For some reason, I was
He
thinking
does, Your
maybe.
Honor, based on what my client tells me that he lives there because he is the boyfriend or mother's boyfriend.
Okay. All right.
My client is not working at the moment. She was taking care of her mom. So
Mhm. Yeah, it's kind of hard for her to go back there, and I understand she's not working, but it's difficult with that because the boyfriend is there and I understand you have another case and something else going on, but we certainly don't want them to be in the same location. So I'm gonna have to order that the defendant stay away from that location. And, it's no further contact, which I don't think she would definitely have no problem with, but I am concerned on the other allegations. But that is not the case before the court. I'm going to order the one-day anger awareness course through pretrial. And I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond.
thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor,
That's per
what was that
judge.
bond amount?
Your Honor, if I may, our office has spoken with Miss Andrews' mother,
Mm-hmm.
and she has requested that neither the boyfriend or her daughter come back to that location. This
Okay.
is Miss
That
Michelle
would
County.
be fine. I can't do anything about the boyfriend. That's the victim, and she'll need to take whatever measures on her own on that. I
He's
usually don't.
incarcerated too, Judge, you know that.
I'm sorry.
He's incarcerated too. That's why
Oh,
it's-
it was a
That's
dual.
why it's a conflict case.
Got you. Okay, well, I'll order him in his case to stay away then when we get to his case.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, what was that bond amount?
3,000 signature bond through pretrial.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
You got it. Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 21, Mr. Sandy Walker.
Huh? This is 23 CR 003891A. Sandy Walker, charged at 1 count of simple battery, pre-trial.
16 total. Last arrested. He got an 09 disorderly conduct, malicious injury to property conviction.
Okay. Stay.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened June 18th of 2023 at 856 Margaret Place Northwest. Roosevelt Walker stated that he and his uncle, the defendant, were breaking down tables at that location after a family barbecue. And the defendant placed his feet on a table that Mr. Walker was trying to break down. Mr. Walker stated at that point, he asked the defendant to remove his feet. The defendant began cursing at Mr. Walker, and according to Mr. Walker, was intoxicated. And according to Mr. Walker, the defendant then stood up, spit on Mr. Walker, and swung a chair at him, striking him on the lower left arm near his wrist. Mr. Walker then admitted to striking the defendant after the defendant struck him with the chair, at which point the defendant tried to grab a cinder block, but could not due to the weight of the block, and then went and grabbed a wooden stake from the ground and began striking a table with it. We have not had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Walker. We did attempt to call him on the numbers that we had to no avail. I will state that he does have that 2009 disorderly conduct and malicious injury to persons. He also has 14 cycles out of Georgia, but most of his convictions are older than 2005. The state at this time would recommend a $2,000 surety bond, stay away from 1865 Langston Avenue, which is a different address, but that is what the victim's address was listed as. No further contact with Roosevelt Walker, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and one-day anger awareness. We would at this time like to sound for Mr. Roosevelt Walker.
Mr. Roosevelt Walker. Roosevelt Walker. Not here. All right, this is Ms. McLeod.
It is, Your Honor. My client is 66 years old. He is currently not working because he is disabled. He's been disabled for the past 4 years, he tells me, Your Honor. He has been living at this address with his brother and his nephews for some time. He denies that he attacked his nephew. In fact, he tells me that he was the one who called the police for help because his nephew attacked him. My client is not in a position to pay for a bond, Your Honor, so I would ask the court to consider giving him a signature bond. I believe pretrial said that his last arrest was in 2009, which I would say is remote, Your Honor. And he's an older gentleman and he has very limited means to pay bond. He tells me that he will be able to find somewhere else to live. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. I'm going to order $2,000 surety bond. I'm going to order a stay away from, is it 1865 Langston Avenue?
Yes, Your Honor. The address this incident happened at is, if Your Honor will just give me a moment, is
Okay.
856 Margaret Place Northwest. We're not asking him to stay away from that address. We're asking him to stay away from the address listed for Mr. Walker, 1865 Langston Avenue.
Okay. Stay away from the Langston Avenue address. No further contact with the victim, Roosevelt Walker. And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I think that should be it.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but I didn't hear that bond amount.
That's okay. $2,000 surety bond.
Thank you. And we can go to 3 South.
Position number 22, Weatherby.
Your Honor, that concludes my business before the court. May I be excused?
Yes, running today.
Thank
Have a
you.
good one. All right, 23 CR 003893D, Michael Weathersby, charge of 1 count of criminal damage, criminal trespass and damage to property, pretrial.
25 total. 2014 operating under the influence, 2017, same thing. 2007 burglary conviction, 2010 parole violation. That's it.
All right, state.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened on 1669 Joseph E. Boone Boulevard, Northwest. He is charged with criminal trespass, damage to property. What happened here was officer responded to a dispute call at the incident location. He spoke with the victim, whose name was Shanita Berry. She stated that she was in an argument with her boyfriend, the defendant. Ms. Berry stated that Mr. Weatherby became irate and began striking the right side middle window of her 2018 Dodge Caravan until the window shattered. Let's see, Your Honor, the defendant is a multi-state offender. He has 22 cycles out of Illinois and 3 from Wisconsin. All of these arrests are from 1996 to the present. These arrests include operating under the influence in 2014, aggravated assault, use of deadly weapon in 2014 in Illinois, reckless conduct 2014, criminal trespass to land in 2015. For the bond recommendation, we're recommending a $3,000 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, and awareness, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Shanita Berry, to stay away from the incident location, 1669 Joseph E. Boone Boulevard, Northwest. And at this time right now, Your Honor, I would look at the police stop for the victim.
All right, is Shanita Barrett on the Zoom call? Shanita Barrett. Nope, don't think she is. Go ahead, PD Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Michael Weathersby is 40 years old, and he was born in Illinois, and he currently resides in Illinois. He came to do some contract work for electricity with Miss Berry, the complaining witness. They have been here for about a week. They're staying at Airbnb location. So they don't have a whole lot of strong ties to the community, and yet he is willing to return back for the court using Greyhound station. They are working together, they live together. So, Your Honor, however, he does not have any opposition to stay away and no further contact as long as he gets a signature on bond so he can return home. He has kind of different odd jobs here and there after completing his GED. That's what he has been doing. And Your Honor, I think that's it at this point. He is qualified for public defender services because of his financial situation. We would like to request for signature on bond and no further contact and stay away. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to order a $3,000 surety bond. I'm gonna order stay away from 1669 Joseph E. Boone Boulevard Northwest. No further contact with the victim, Shanita Barrett. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. That should be it.
Your Honor, can he go back to Joseph E. Lowry Airbnb place for him to retrieve his personal belongings?
Yes, I'll order one-time law enforcement escort to return to retrieve his personal items.
Your Honor, can we put courtroom 3, Ms. Kim and the Spanish interpreter in the breakout room?
Yes.
And then I'll do all Ms. Will's cases.
Okay.
I'm gonna start with position number 7, Ms. Tiana Bussey.
Okay. This is 23 CR 0038886J, Tiana Bussey, charged with 1 count of battery family violence, pretrial.
Second arrest, 2010 battery DV, cruelty in the third, not prosecute.
All right, state.
Yes, good afternoon, Judge Mincy.
Good afternoon.
Okay, so this incident occurred yesterday at 2301 Godby Road, apartment 6C in College Park. This is different from the address that's listed in the warrant. But this is where the defendant who shares children with Mr. Dominique Dawson, they were in an argument about the defendant coming to pick up their kids. And that's when things got physical between the two of them. Mr. Dawson was able to show officers a bald red area where the defendant pulled out his locks in the midst of that altercation. The children were present during this incident, but Mr. Dawson told officers that they were in a back bedroom and they did not see or hear anything, Your Honor. The defendant did leave the scene, but she was spotted from a description that Mr. Dawson gave officers, and that's when she was arrested. Our office was able to speak to Mr. Dawson. He let us know that they share 2 children, but they're not in a relationship, nor do they live together. He let us know that everything that was stated in the warrant was true, and that this was not the first time that the defendant has been violent with him before, but this is just the first time that he's called the police. And so Mr. Dawson also let us know that he does not want any contact with her, and he wants her to stay away from his residence. For these reasons, Your Honor, and given that the defendant was arrested in 2011 for battery family violence and cruelty to children charge, being that this is not her first time with domestic violence incidents with her child's father, the state's recommendation is a $4,000 surety bond. We're asking for a 1-day anger awareness course, no further contact with Mr. Dawson, to stay away from his address, which is 2301 Godby Road, apartment 6C in College Park, and a third-party escort for their children, Your Honor. And if Mr. Dawson is on the Zoom call, I would like to sound for him at, I would like to sound for him right now.
Okay. Dominique Dawson. Dominique Dawson. All right, don't think that he's on. Go ahead, PD Wills.
Thank you, Judge. My client is 31 years old. She is a native of Georgia. She reports that she's employed by both HelloFresh and their warehouse, as well as Ally Security. She will not qualify to be represented by the Public Defender's Office. She does have a high school diploma and tells me that she has 2 children, ages 13 and 9. It is correct that Mr. Dawson is the father of her children. She does not have any objection with staying away from the incident location, as well as not having any contact. She states that her children both have cell phones so that they are able to independently communicate with Mr. Dawson if need be. Ms. Bussey tells me that it was the alleged victim, Mr. Dawson, who initiated the physical contact between the two of them. He tried to prevent her from leaving his residence and put all of his body weight on her. My client states that she will be moving with her uncle and will also be taking the children with her. And so for those reasons, I would request a signature on bond, Your Honor. And if Your Honor is not so inclined, I would ask that her bond not be greater than $1,000.
Okay. I'm going to order the $4,000 signature bond through pretrial per judge. I'm going to order the 1-day anger awareness course. I'm going to order no further contact with Dominique Dawson. And I didn't hear, or did I hear, stay away from that location or not?
Yes, it's a stay away from his address. That address again is 2301 Godby Road, apartment 6C.
Okay, okay. And we'll stay away from that address, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond.
And Your Honor, may my client please have a one-time police escort so she can collect her belongings as well as the belongings of her children?
Yes, and a one-time law enforcement escort to that location to retrieve any personal belongings.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Your Honor, you said that was a 4,000 SOB?
$4,000 SOB pretrial. Yes, sir.
All right.
Excuse me. Can
Who's
court
talking?
referee the breakout room with the interpreter and Ms. Kim?
Oh, okay.
Next, Your Honor, we have position number 8, Ms. Cooper.
All right.
Sherry Ann Cooper.
All right. This is 23 CR 003895. Charge of 1 count of simple assault and a 2nd count of willful obstruction for law enforcement officer. Pretrial.
First.
Okay. State.
Yes, Your Honor. So this incident occurred yesterday at about 14th Street and Northside Drive. And this is where the defendant pointed an umbrella at 2 officers. And when the officers tried to arrest her by telling her to place her hands behind her back, she resisted by pulling her arms away several times. So for these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial services, $1,500 for each charge, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
Okay.
Your Honor, I have no objection to a signature bond in this case.
All right. I will order $3,000 signature bond through pretrial. I'm going to, order the one-day anger awareness course. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I'm missing something. Is there
No.
not? No?
No, that's all, Your Honor.
Okay, okay. I thought I was leaving something out. Okay.
Per judge.
Per judge, yes, per judge. Thank you.
What was the breakdown, Your Honor?
1,500 on each, signature bonds through pretrial.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 10, Mr. Malumbo Hambi.
Okay. This is 23 CR 0038887B. Malumbo Hayambi, charged with 1 count of terroristic threats, 2nd count of willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, 3rd count of criminal trespass, and a 4th count, which is terroristic threats and acts. Pre-trial?
17 total. Last arrest was in April, failure to appear on probation for disorderly conduct. 22 SC 180750. He was arrested twice last year for FTAs. 2020 disorderly conduct conviction, 2 counts. 2018 battery, 2018 disorderly conduct conviction, 2016 simple battery DV.
All right, state.
Yes, Your Honor. So this incident occurred yesterday at the Publix located at 8275 Roswell Road. And this is where officers spoke with a Mr. R.L. Moore, who told them that the defendant approached him and a Miss Fantega Caldwell stating, "I'm going to cut you, I'm going to get you." And then he pulled out a knife while threatening them. Officers did know, however, that the knife was not found in the area. The defendant, however, was issued a criminal trespass warning for that Publix on January 21st of this year. And officers noted in the warrant that while trying to place the defendant in the police cruiser, he refused to obey their verbal commands. And he was making his body stiff, so he couldn't get in the car. And so officers had to pick him up and place him inside the police cruiser. And so also, Your Honor, our victim witness advocate was able to speak to Ms. Caldwell, and she let us know that she has seen the defendant before, and she knows that he harassed women when he's inside the Publix. On this particular day, she was just a customer inside Publix, and she told us that she was trying to avoid the defendant, but then he approached her and told her that she was attractive, and he asked her for her number. And so when she denied, like when she didn't give him her number, he got upset and was talking bad to her, and then he pulled out the knife at her, Your Honor. And Ms. Caldwell let us know that she does not want any contact with this defendant. And so for these reasons, the state's recommendation is an $8,000 surety bond. We're asking for $3,000 on each of the terroristic threat charges, $1,000 for the criminal trespass, and then $1,000 for the willful obstruction charge. We're asking for a 1-day anger awareness course and to stay away from the Publix at 8275 Roswell Road, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. And I believe Ms. Caldwell is on the Zoom call, so I would like to sound for her.
All right, Ms. Caldwell.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, do you wish to address the court today?
Yes, Your Honor.
You do, you have to turn on your camera.
Okay.
Okay. If you wish to address the court, I'm going to swear you in first. Raise your right hand. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
All right. What would you like to tell the court?
I would like to tell the court that I'm pretty much not safe. Well, I don't feel safe in this area because like she said, that he's always in the area, and I've seen him more than one time, not just at the Publix, but just around the area, just harassing women and stuff like that. So I'm pretty much, by me not being from Atlanta, it's just very scary that, it's a possibility that he'll be still just walking these streets and stuff like that. So that's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Any cross-examination from the state?
No cross-examination from the state, Your Honor, but also I would like to sound for Mr. R.L. Moore. I don't believe he's on the call, but I would still like to sound for him just in case.
Right, Mr. R.L. Moore. No. Yes, R.L. Moore. Mr. Moore. All right, it's not there. Go ahead, P.D. Wills.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Hambe is 30 years old. He has resided in the state of Georgia for the past 20 years. He is currently unemployed and will qualify to be represented by the Public Defender's Office. He does not have any children. He does deny the allegations as alleged. The warrant indicated that Ms. Caldwell was threatened with a knife, or my client stated that he had a knife. However, no knife was found on the location or on my client's person. Mr. Hambe does deny the allegations as alleged. He says he never threatened the victim, the alleged victim, that he approached her and did ask for her phone number. I did explain to him that he had a prior trespass and that he cannot return there. He states he does understand that, Your Honor. For all of those reasons and due to my client's current unemployment status, I would request a signature on bond. If Your Honor is not so inclined, I would ask for a $500 bond.
Your Honor, just briefly, I do want to let you know that our office did send this up to the DA's office for a possible aggravated assault. Unfortunately, they declined to take it. I'm not sure why, but just want to let you know that as well.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to enter the $8,000 surety bond, $3,000 on each of the terroristic threats, $1,000 on the obstruction, $1,000 on the criminal trespass. I'm going to order a stay away from the Publix at 8275 Roswell Road and no further contact with the victims R.L. Moore and Fantega Caldwell. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And that should do it. Is that it?
That's it, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
I know this is becoming redundant, but
It's okay.
what's that bond amount again?
Yeah, that's all right. I know you're busy over there. 8,000 total. You need the breakdown?
Yeah.
Surety? Okay,
Yeah.
3,000 on each of the terroristic threats and 1,000 on the obstruction and 1,000 on the criminal trespass for a total of 8 surety.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
8,000. So it's gonna be about $900 to $1,000. I'm done. Next, we have position number 11, Mr. Hester.
All right. This is 23 CR 003896D. Zaki Hester, charge of 1 count of battery, family violence. Offense date 3/28/2022. Pretrial.
15 total. He got an open case in Superior Court, criminal damage to property, 2nd degree, simple battery, 23 CP 217089. Got an open case in state court, 23 CR 001-737A. Hold on for a minute. Okay. 2017-2019 failure to appear, 2011 probation. That's it.
All right, State.
Yes, Your Honor. So this incident occurred March 28th, 2022 at 9100 Cascade Palmetto Highway, apartment 10G. And this is where the defendant punched Miss Angela Houston in the nose, causing her nose to bleed. Miss Houston told officers that this incident started because she told the defendant that she didn't want to be in a relationship with him anymore, and he got mad and then proceeded to punch her in the face. And so the defendant left the scene. The two share a child together, Your Honor, and the office, Miss Houston also told the officer that the defendant has always been violent with her in previous arguments, and he keeps coming to her apartment unannounced, Your Honor. Again, with the, I believe, pre-trials, the open case in state court is a battery, family violence, cruelty to children in the second degree and third degree. I have a warrant for that, a warrant number for that case. I believe that's the same case, but at any rate, that case is involving the same victim, Miss Angela Houston, Your Honor. Whereas the other criminal damage to property, criminal damage to property and simple battery case, that's a different victim and a different address. But this shows that the defendant has a propensity to continue these violent acts against people. So the state's recommendation is a $7,500 surety bond, 1 day anger awareness course, no further contact with Miss Houston, and to stay away from 9100 Cascade Palmetto Highway, apartment 10G, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. I don't believe Miss Houston is on the Zoom call, but if she is, I would like to sound for her.
All right. Miss Houston. Miss Houston. All right, she's not there. PD Wills.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Hester is 39 years old. He is a native of Georgia. He is currently unemployed as he's been incarcerated since the end of April. But prior, he was working in construction and believes he will be able to resume employment if he is released. He does have a GED, and he has 2 children who are under the age of 18. He states that the alleged victim is the mother of his children. He has no objection to not having any further contact with her or returning to the residence. My client states that he has a twin, and that, well, I'm sorry, that's unrelated to this charge. I would like the court to know that this incident did occur March 28th, 2022, and my client has been incarcerated for 2 months. He has a $30,000 bond on his current charges that he is unable to afford at this time. So I would ask for a signature on bond in this case. If Your Honor is not so inclined, I'll ask that his bond not exceed $1,000.
All right. I'm going to order a $5,000 surety bond. I'm going to order stay away from 9100 Cascade Palmetto Highway, apartment 10G. No further contact with the victim, Ms. Houston. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And that should be it. Anything else?
Nothing from the state.
Yeah. Next.
15.
Okay. This is, oh, this is the interpreter case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Madam Interpreter, raise your excuse me, your right hand for me. And do you swear or affirm that you will faithfully interpret from English to Spanish and Spanish to English the proceedings before the court in an accurate manner to the best of your skill and knowledge and with no embellishments?
I do, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right. This again is case number 23 CR 0038889F. Marcos Rodriguez, charged with 1 count of battery family violence.
Este es el caso 23 CR 0038889F, Marcos Rodríguez, con un cargo de golpes y lesiones, violencia familiar.
All right, and pre-trial,
Servicios previos al juicio.
First arrest.
first.
Primer
Okay.
arresto.
All right, state.
Fiscalía.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened June 19th, 2023 at 756 Mimosa Boulevard.
Este incidente ocurrió el 18 de junio del 2023 en 756 Mimosa Boulevard.
Officers spoke with Alfonso Calderon, who is the caller and roommate of the defendant and Jennifer Alegría.
Los oficiales hablaron con Alfonso Calderón, quien es el roommate de Jennifer Alegría y el señor Calderón Rodríguez.
Mr. Calderon stated he was sleeping when he heard a fight between the defendant and Mrs. Alegría, which turned physical.
El señor Calderón dijo que él estaba durmiendo cuando escuchó una pelea con el acusado y la señorita Alegría, que se convirtió en una violencia física.
Officers spoke to Miss Alegría, who stated that she asked the defendant, who was outside drinking with his friends, to come inside.
Los oficiales hablaron con la señorita Alegría, quien les dijo que ella le pidió al acusado, quien estaba bebiendo con sus amigos afuera, que le pidió que viniese adentro.
According to Miss Alegría, the defendant came into the bedroom and was irate.
De acuerdo a la señorita Alegría, el acusado vino a la recámara y estaba irritado.
Miss Alegría stated she walked out to prevent any conflict between the two of them, and as she walked into the living room near the front door, the defendant struck her.
La señorita Alegría salió para evitar una confrontación entre ambos, pero cuando llegó a la sala, el acusado la golpeó.
Miss Alegría stated they began fighting at that point, and she pushed him to the ground.
La señorita Alegría dijo que la pelea empezó a ponerse peor y ella lo empujó al piso.
Officers were able to observe a cut on her lip that was, a small laceration to her lips and bleeding.
Los oficiales observaron un corte en el labio con un raspón y sangrado.
The defendant had a small scratch on his face, which he claimed he got while at work, and also claimed that Miss Alegría injured herself.
I'm sorry, Miss Alegría?
Injured herself.
Oh. El acusado mostraba un raspón en la cara, por lo que la señorita Alegría dijo que lo había obtenido en el trabajo y dijo el acusado que que se había lesionado ella misma.
However, Daniel Mendez, another roommate who did not see the altercation, did state that he had to stop the defendant from attacking Miss Alegría.
El señor Méndez, quien no estaba involucrado, dijo que él tuvo que separar a la señora Alegría del acusado.
The state's recommendation is a $3,000 surety bond, no further contact with Jennifer Alegría, stay away from 5 756 Mimosa Boulevard, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
La fiscalía recomienda una fianza de $3,000 de bajo garantía, no tener contacto con la señorita Alegría, mantenerse distanciado de la dirección 756 Mimosa Boulevard y que quede prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas.
At this time, we would like to sound for Miss Jennifer Alegría.
En este momento queremos llamar a la señorita Alegría. Jennifer Alegría está presente. Por favor, prenda su cámara y micrófono.
All right. PD Kim,
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Marcos Rodriguez is 29 years old.
El señor Marcos Rodríguez tiene 29 años de edad.
He graduated from college in Mexico with a bachelor's degree for social worker.
Él se graduó de la Universidad en México con una licenciatura en trabajo social.
He came to Georgia about 4 months ago.
Él llegó a Georgia hace más o menos 4 meses.
And he has a full-time job as a landscaping.
Y él tiene un trabajo a tiempo completo en el paisajismo.
And he sends out child support to 2 children in Mexico. They are 4 years and 6 months old.
Y él envía pensión alimenticia al menor a 2 niños en México de edades 4 años y 6 meses.
He has no objection to no further contact and stay away.
Él no tiene ninguna objeción de mantenerse distanciado del lugar y no tener más contacto con la persona.
He just needs one-time law enforcement officer visit to retrieve his personal belongings.
Solo necesita que regresar con un policía de escolta para retirar sus pertenencias personales.
We would like to request for signature on bond since this is his first offense ever.
Queremos solicitar que se le otorgue una fianza bajo firma debido a que es su primer arresto.
And nothing further, Your Honor.
Y
Thanks.
nada más, su señoría.
okay? I'm going to tell me this, PD Kim, and I may have missed it. What's the relationship with Ms. Jennifer?
They are
Alegría.
boyfriend and girlfriend. However, they do not have any children together. They live together at 756 Mimosa Boulevard. However, Jennifer is moving out to North Carolina, and my client is anyway moving out to another apartment at the end of the month.
Explíqueme la relación entre ellos. Bueno, ellos son novios y no tienen hijos en común. Y ella se está por mudar a Carolina del Norte y él de todas maneras también se va a mudar de ese lugar.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and order a $4,000 signature bond, and I'm going to order that signature bond through the jail. I'm going to order a stay away from 756 Mimosa Boulevard. No further contact with the victim, Ms. Alegría. And no drugs, alcohol, weapons while on bond. And that's all I order for now.
Voy a ordenar una fianza de $4,000 bajo firma o no monetaria a través de la cárcel.
I'm sorry, Ms. Kim, and a one-time law enforcement escort to return to the property to retrieve his personal items. Anything else?
I'm sorry.
Nothing further.
I'm sorry, yes.
May I continue, Your Honor?
Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. $4,000 de fianza bajo firma o no monetaria a través de la cárcel, mantenerse alejado de la dirección 756 Mimosa Boulevard, no tener contacto alguno con la víctima o la señorita Alegría, queda prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas, y eso es todo, pero también le otorgo el permiso de regresar con una oficial como escolta para retirar sus pertenencias personales.
Okay. That's everything, then that should conclude the case. Anything else?
Eso es todo y debería entonces terminar su caso.
Nothing further from the state.
Nada más de
Alright.
parte de la fiscalía.
All right.
This is Miss Roundtree, Felicia Roundtree. I don't have her position.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Your Honor, she is my client, Your Honor, and yet I did not have any chance to interview her. So I need to have one quick phone call with her.
Derek
before I can
Howard
proceed.
interviewed her,
Okay, alrighty.
and he
Mr.
said he was
Howard,
going to give you
thank
the
you.
information.
She's position number 16 on the calendar.
May I be dismissed, Your Honor?
Yes, you may. We
Thank
don't
you.
have any other interpreter cases. Is that correct?
I may call if you don't mind.
Okay.
Hay alguien que necesite un intérprete en español, por favor avise prendiendo su cámara. I think we're okay.
Okay,
Thank you,
good.
Your Honor.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, are we ready for Roundtree?
Not myself,
Are you-
Your Honor. I didn't get any
I'm
from,
I'm holding. I think he's sending it to you, maybe.
yes.
Okay, you want me to hold for a second?
Judge Mincy, Mr.
Yes.
Howard, he's in the courtroom. He wants to know, could he do that case in a breakout session? And he get ready to log on now.
Oh, okay. And Miss Grace, I guess PD Kim, do you want to come in the breakout too? Okay,
So who all going in the breakout, Judge?
Deputy Falk, PD Kim, myself and Derek Howard, Mr. Howard. Is that it, Deputy Falk? Anybody else with you?
Jordan Robinson will need to accompany us in the breakout.
Jordan Robinson, okay.
Okay.
Can we stand down that case? He having difficulty logging on, so he's headed to courtroom number 3. So can we go to position 3 until he log on?
Okay, that's
Thank
fine.
you.
This is 23 CR 0038883E. Elijah Emoji. One count of theft by taking. Pre-trial.
7 total. Last arrest was on the 14th of this month. Cobb County, simple battery, obstruction, CWAC charge. That's open. You had a couple of probation violations, 2019, 2017, simple assault conviction.
State.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. The state brought a charge of theft by taking for an incident that occurred April 8th of this year. The
Mhm.
location was 502 Berkeley Run, Atlanta. The defendant, Mr. Maji, had only met the victim just a few days earlier on a social website. And he asked if he could come to her apartment. While he was there on April 8th, he accused the victim of taking some of his marijuana that he had brought in a jar. He then argued with the victim, Ms. Pitts, and entered a bedroom and took approximately $700 worth of electronics without consent and left the apartment. And he was born out of the country, lived in Colorado. We're not sure how long he's been in Georgia. He has open charges, including a sexual battery in Smyrna. And for that reason, we're asking for a $2,000 surety bond, a stay away from the incident location, no further contact with the victim, Ms. Pitts, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And at this time, we'd like to sound for Ms. Karina Pitts, if she's here.
Yes, Miss Karina Pitts. Karina Pitts. Don't think she is. Go ahead, PD Wills.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Emoji is 33 years old. He is a native of Georgia, or he reports he is. He's employed by Dealer Services Network as a title processor, and will not qualify to be represented by the Public Defender's Office. He does have a high school diploma. He also was a member of the Marine Corps, and he was honorably discharged. My client does have 2 children, ages 4 and 5. He has been in custody since last Wednesday, as he was arrested on charges unrelated to this charge. And he does deny the allegations as alleged and states that the alleged victim actually tried to steal from him. He does not have any objection to a stay away and not having any further contact with the alleged victim. I would ask for a signature on bond. If Your Honor is not so inclined, I would ask that his bond not be greater than $500.
I'm going to order a $2,000 surety bond. I'm going to order stay away from 502 Berkeley Run in Atlanta. No further contact with the victim, Ms. Karina Pitts. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I guess that's it. $2,000 surety.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm.
Is he done, Judge?
Yes, that was a $2,000 surety for Mr. Emoji.
Okay, position number 13 is next.
Okay. Said 36.
Position 13, 1-3.
Oh, 1-3.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry.
Judge, we ain't got 36 people now.
Thank goodness, I know, right? Not today, or not any day, hardly. All right, we have 23 CR 0038880J, Brandon King, charged with 1 count of battery family violence, pretrial.
Yeah. 11 total. Last was 2019. Possession with intent. 2015 failure to appear. Possession of a firearm by convicted felon conviction. 2014 probation. He had a couple of probations from 2013. 2013 theft by receiving conviction.
All right. State?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened June 1st, 2023 at 1412 Hampton Drive in Sandy Springs. The defendant became upset over what he saw on Miss Tierra Moore's phone, who is his living girlfriend. The defendant then struck Miss Moore in the face with a closed fist while she was sleeping, according to Miss Moore. And the officers did observe visible injury to Miss Moore's nose, which they put into the warrant. We did have an opportunity to speak with Miss Tierra Moore, and she stated she suffered from a swollen eye, a concussion, and a swollen nose. She also further indicated that they are not currently in a relationship and they do not currently live together, but they do share a child. She stated she has since left the residence after this incident, which happened approximately 19 days ago. And she further stated that nothing like this had ever happened before. She also stated the defendant has called her from the jail apologizing, and she believes that he does need some anger management courses. Our biggest concern here, Your Honor, is the fact of the nature of Miss Moore's injuries. The fact that she had a concussion, a swollen nose, and a swollen eye gives us grave concerns for Miss Moore's safety, as well as for a risk of reoffense. I would also like to point out that this defendant has probation violations from 2013 in Athens, Clarke, and DeKalb counties. Probation violations in 2014 from Athens, Clarke, has a possession of firearm first offender conviction in 2015 in Fulton, a FTA in 2015 out of Sandy Springs, and previous theft convictions in 2006, 2008, and 2012. But it's the FTAs and the probation violations that do concern us the most for his both risk of reoffense and likelihood to not show up for court and not to obey the restrictions of the court. For that reason, the state is asking for a $6,000 surety bond, stay away from 1412 Hampton Drive, Sandy Springs, no further contact with Miss Tierra Moore, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. And at this time, we would like to sound for Miss Tierra Moore. We would also like to add a one-day anger awareness per Miss Moore's request.
Okay. All right, Tierra Moore. Tierra Moore.
Can you hear me?
Where are you? Let's see.
Can you hear me?
Moore.
She's under
Does it say
Denise's iPhone.
Denise's iPhone. Yes.
You can hear me?
Right. Do you wish to address the court today?
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
All right, I need to swear you in first.
Okay.
Raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, what would you like to say?
I would like to say, to clarify the statement that was just made by Deputy Folk. He did not hit me while sleeping. We had gotten up and started arguing, and that's what caused, as in the heat of the moment, he got heated and hit me then. I then left with my mom to go to the hospital just to make sure I didn't have anything, broken out of place or whatever the case may be. And they had made me aware that, nothing was wrong. And that's when the cop came to the hospital to ask questions, but I wasn't in my sleep. And like I had made Ms. Iman aware earlier, we haven't been through anything like this before. This is not Brandon's character. I believe he personally just had an outright moment, and he does not intend on continuing this behavior. Brandon is an outstanding dad, very great dad to our son, very great employer. He just goes out his way to do his best. He's been providing for us for the longest time. And like I said, this incident was very, very out of our normal. This is, like I said, again, not something that I would have believed him to do. Trust me, I wouldn't put our son in his safety or in his care if I didn't trust him or his judgment. But it was an isolated incident. We had been speaking back and forth, and we have been in contact, and we have been seeing each other since. With our child, we have been to outings and trying to make things better, trying to make things work. My suggestion and my hope and prayer is that we can go through family counseling, anger courses and try to make this thing work and better. I just don't see his future being deterred by a mistake that he didn't intend to go left as it did. But he has been very apologetic. He has been trying to correct his mistakes, and he has been trying to take the necessary steps to go forward and correct everything. So I just don't want him to have to take the downfall of something so major when it wasn't necessarily all. It was just an action.
All right. Any cross-examination from the state?
Briefly, Your Honor.
Mhm.
Ms. Moore, are you the person who ended up calling the police after this happened?
I didn't call the police at all. They showed up at the hospital saying, in the hospital, the doctor actually told me that because of the nature of the way I looked and because I didn't really want to give them any information as to what happened and how it happened, they had to call the police. So the hospital in turn called the police. I didn't make that call.
Okay. And after the police arrived, you did tell them that the defendant, Mr. King, hit you.
Yes, I did let them know we had got into an argument and he did hit me, but I wasn't sleeping. I just wanted to make that clear. Like, he didn't wake me up out my sleep hitting me. It wasn't that. He gets up for work early anyway at 5 o'clock in the morning. And he just so happened to see my phone, and what he saw on my phone, he didn't like. We got into an argument about it and it went left from there. But it wasn't like he, like I said, intentionally was trying to hit me in my sleep. It wasn't the nature of that at all.
Okay. And was it the doctor that diagnosed you with the concussion?
I'm going to assume so. I don't really remember. I really don't remember, but they did make me aware when I got there that wasn't my call. And I had told them that I didn't want to call. I told them I didn't want to press charges. I had made them aware of all of that. And they told me because of the nature of the incident that they had to proceed with a state thing. It wasn't something I had a choice in.
Okay, thank you. Your Honor, nothing further. However, I would like to put on the record that according to the warrant, it stated, after becoming upset over what Brandon King observed on Tierra Moore's phone, Brandon King did start hitting Tierra Moore in the face with a closed fist as Tierra Moore was sleeping. So, Your Honor, that isn't something I just made up randomly. It's something that came directly from the warrant that the officer presented to the court in order to obtain this warrant.
Okay.
I just wanted to clarify. I really understand. I'm not saying she made anything up at all. I just wanted to clarify that I wasn't sleeping when the incident took place. We had just woken up for work that day.
Yeah, I understand. Your testimony has been pretty clear. Thank you, Ms. Wills, PD Wills.
I do have just a couple of questions, or maybe one question for cross-examination.
Okay.
Do you still reside at the 1412 Hampton Drive address?
No, ma'am, that's his apartment in his name. I did live there with him, but just to give the situation space and air to breathe, I've been living with my mom and he's been living there, and we've been dealing with our son accordingly.
Okay. And is your desire that you guys maintain contact and communication?
Yes, like I said, he's been showing nothing but improvement as far as trying to move forward, move better in a positive direction. I'm not in the position or feel like he's going to do anything harmful. I don't feel like he's going to harm us. I don't feel unsafe. I just, like I said, he's been trying to do better. He's been doing better since, like, he's been doing great this year, period. Last year as well. Like, we've been going up progression wise. We've been doing way better over the years. It's just, this was an isolated incident. Like I said, I can't make that any more different. This was a really isolated, unexpected incident. Outside of that.
Okay. All right. Let me ask you this. So you all do not reside together. Is that correct?
Currently, no, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, PD Wills.
I don't have any further questions.
All right. Go ahead. The state is complete. You may go ahead and present.
Thank you. Mr. King is 36 years old. He has resided in the state of Georgia for the past 35 years. He is employed by Rose Paving as a team leader. and will not qualify to be represented by the public defender's office. He does have one 7-year-old child who he shares with the alleged victim. As it was stated that residence does belong to him, so I would ask that he be allowed to return back home now that the alleged victim has vacated the premises. My client does deny the allegation, but as it was stated, this is outside of any of this alleged behavior is outside of my client's character. This incident did occur on the 1st, it is now the 20th, and my client and the alleged victim have maintained contact and communication since the alleged incident took place. There have been no prior incidents and no incidents since. So I would ask per the alleged victim's wishes that they'll be allowed to have no further violent contact. I do believe that there has been an adequate cooling off period. I also would request that my client be given a signature on bond. If your honor is not so inclined, I would ask that his bond not exceed $1,000.
Okay. And how old is the child?
He's 7. And he wasn't around when the incident took place. He was nowhere.
Hold on, Ms. Moore. I just want you to answer the questions that I asked, okay? Thank you. All right. I'm going to order a $4,000 surety bond. I'm going to order, since it has been almost 30 days, give or take 20 days since the incident, I will order, who lives at 412 Hampton Drive?
My client does. Ms. Moore,
sorry?
my client does, and it's in his name. Ms. Moore has indicated that she has vacated the premises and is staying with her
All
mother.
right. All right, so I will just order no further violent contact between the parties. And I will order that Mr. King find a 1-day anger awareness course to take. I'm going to also order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. There'll be no further violent contact, $4,000 surety bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All
Your
right,
Honor, I
thank
just
you.
want to place on the record that the state does object to the no further violent contact, especially given the fact that my apologies, I had a moment that Miss Moore was not going to call the police. In fact, it was the hospital that had to call the police over her objections. For that reason, we are concerned that if there is a reoccurrence of this, that Miss Moore will not take the steps necessary to alert the authorities if something else were to happen.
And
So
Your Honor,
our objection noted for the record.
and Your Honor, I believe that's a mischaracterization.
Hold on a second. Who is that? Oh, PD Wills, go ahead.
I believe that's a mischaracterization. I did not hear Ms. Moore stated that she objected. She has stated that she did not call law enforcement herself, that the hospital staff deemed that it was necessary based on her injuries.
Okay, no problem. All right, that will conclude this case.
Your Honor, are we ready for Ms. Roundtree?
I think so. I see Mr. Howard.
Yes, Judge. If we could do that.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Good to see you, Judge.
Good to see you. Thanks for stepping in to help us out today.
No problem, Judge. If Ms. Falk and I could go into a breakout with you on this and whoever else she deems appropriate.
Yes, Your Honor,
Okay.
if we could also have ASG Eggers and Third Year Practice Act, Mr. Robinson join us in the breakout, just so they can, I don't believe they have observed a breakout as of yet.
All right, and PD Kim as well. Is that correct?
Yes, Judge.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Judge, you're muted.
Thank you. Who do we have?
This is gonna be position number 2, Mr. Mac Allen.
Oh, Your Honor, just didn't want to forget to sound for those victims.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hold on one second. Yes.
Jer-
Jeremy Eldridge, Michael Rosen, and let's see,
and Jeremy Heaton.
and Jeremy Heaton. Are any of those victims on the line? No. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you.
And Judge, before you move on to the next case, if I can make an announcement on another gentleman that I was able to see, position 12, Mr. Aaron James.
Okay.
He's been reset. It's my understanding a few times. I met with Mr. James just a little bit ago, and he was clear that he did not wish to come to court today to have his bond addressed. After several attempts to try to see if he would waive his appearance so that we could address it, he said that he did not want that to happen, and he wanted us to just revisit it with him. So we'd ask that he be reset to tomorrow's calendar to see if there's a change in terms of his desire to move this forward, Judge.
Deputy Falk. I think he's been in, I was told, since June 14th.
I'm aware, Your Honor. I can't, I mean, here is, I think PD Howard has kind of hit the nail on the head. He either has to waive his first appearance, it is a critical stage, or he has to show up in court. He's choosing for whatever reason not to do either. And unfortunately, PD Howard is hamstrung by that because he can't move forward on a critical stage without the defendant's consent. And so where we are, I just want to make it clear, not a Riverside issue, because the state, it is not of the state's creation. So we can reset it. I would again encourage, you know, I don't know, PD Howard, if it would help if you, I don't know if you went out there and met with him directly or if you just, okay.
Yeah, they took me, and Judge, if I thought, I was concerned that maybe there was an MH issue that would prevent, but it didn't appear that was on the surface, an issue that would keep him from consenting. So with that in mind, it just, at this point, he said we could revisit it, but today he wasn't open to either option.
Judge Mincy, all I can say is I will look into what options are available at this point. This is honestly the first time I've run into this unique set of circumstances, but I can look into it and tomorrow report back as to whether there is some sort of, I don't believe there is some sort of loophole legally that would allow us to go forward, because I want to believe that there's something that would not allow a defendant to just stay in jail forever.
If he never wants to sit,
But
and I haven't had one in this long, maybe go a day or so, and then finally we're able to.
The only thing I could say is maybe if courtroom 2 could engineer for a phone to be brought back to that area so that he could speak from his cell, that might be a solution to this issue.
Right. We've done that a few times.
He tried the phone solution and he still denied. He would not talk on the phone. He just put the blanket over his head.
Well, at that point, Your Honor, I don't know if he would need to speak or if we just need to confirm that he actually can hear. But at that point, if he can actually hear what's going on, and I'll defer to PD Howard on this, if he can actually hear the proceedings, I don't know if he needs to acknowledge or talk directly with Your Honor if we know he can hear the proceedings happening.
And Judge, I would tend to agree with that. Actually, I remember a situation in the past where I believe it may have been Judge Law, but ordered that the person be brought, even though they were not necessarily wanting to be
participating. They don't have to,
right. They did bring him to court, and ultimately, the bond was addressed because he was there and able to object or able to voice some, opinion about it, and chose not to. The judge just set a bond and moved it forward. So we may be at that stage. If he doesn't respond tomorrow, I would say we're probably at that stage.
Okay. And just make sure he's got the cell phone on speaker somewhere where he is and he can hear the proceedings.
Your Honor, I have a officer that's going to get the cell phone. He's going to go over there.
Okay. If we do it today, that's fine as well.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Let me know.
And I did request a breakout room for position 2 as well as position 9. And position 9 does identify as female.
All right. But I don't think they said who we have next, did they?
Yeah, we have position number 2, Your Honor. Mac Allen, position number 2. Yes.
Okay. This is Mac Allen. 23 CR 0038828, charged with 1 count of criminal trespass, pretrial.
Fifth arrest, last was 1997, given false name.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Your
And
Honor.
Your Honor, I did request a breakout room for this position.
Oh, on this position, you did say that.
Okay, who do you need to place in the breakout room?
All the same people as before?
Yeah, you don't have to add me this time.
Yes,
Right.
Your Honor.
Did Roundtree get a bond?
Yes. Who's talking?
Miss Glover, I will text you in the chat.
Okay.
Thank you.
Norris, can you hear me?
I hear you.
What's going on?
They're just coming out of a breakout.
Right. Let me at least state what the bonds are on the cases that we handled in the breakout. Position 9 on Dotson. Right. I am going to order a $1,500 surety bond. I'm going to order a stay away from Henry's Tavern on 10th Street. And I'm going to order no further contact with the victim in that case. And no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond.
And thank you. Yes, thank you, Your Honor. If we may, the victim may not have, probably wasn't able to be a part of the breakout session. So we'd like to sound, state would like to sound for Joseph Prestone if he's available.
I wasn't challenging, I was a male. Hold on. Joseph, is it Prestone?
Yes, Your Honor.
I don't think he's on. All right, that'll conclude position number 9 with Dotson.
Yeah, I was saying that I had taken equipment to prove I was a female and that I owned that business. Henry's referring to my grandfather, Henry Dotson.
So you're the owner of the location?
Yes.
Is that Mr. Mack in courtroom 2?
I got Mac Allen, but this is Dodson. She was talking about Dodson. She was on position number 9.
Right. Okay, I'm trying to determine.
That's Miss Dotson, correct?
Mr. Dodson.
I'm sorry.
Miss. She
Miss.
does identify as female.
Okay.
Yeah, I've used my own equipment. I went to Grady. They refusing to use their equipment, but I'm sure I was a female.
And Your Honor, I would ask that the jail mute. We've already handled this case, and I would advise my client not to make any additional statements.
Well, you know, if I need to, is it true that Ms. Dotson is the owner of Henry's Tavern?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, it's not.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. Well, I will continue to order the stay away and no further contact with the victim. Okay. And then the other case we handled in breakout was position 2 with Mac. Is that correct? Mac Allen?
Yes, Ron.
Yes, Ron.
And in that matter, I ordered a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. And as long as you can stay away from that Inman MARTA station at 1055 DeKalb. And I also ordered no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. All right, Mr. Allen?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And was there one more?
You can go to Judge Court's iPhone, Your Honor, when they're ready for Mr. Aaron James.
All right, Mr. James, this is 23 CR 003838G. You're charged with 1 count of willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer and theft by shoplifting. And both on June 14, 2023 pretrial.
This is 5th arrest. Last was June 11 shoplifting.
Okay.
Breaking up.
That was in Cherokee County. I see a DUI as well, criminal trespass, and a 2016 possession of marijuana.
All right. State.
Yes, Your Honor, this incident happened on 2555 Golden Road, northwest, sorry, 2555 Bolton Road, Northwest Atlanta. The incident happened at a CVS. The defendant took candy and chips with a value that was less than $500 away from the store. When officers tried to take him into custody, the defendant would not place his hands behind his back and refused to follow verbal commands. In 2016, he completed his pretrial diversion for theft by shoplifting. Completed pretrial diversion from 2016, marijuana less than 1 ounce. In April of this year, Your Honor, he was arrested for criminal trespass, and in June, he was also arrested for a DUI, both of which are still open. The state is requesting a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial services. That's $1,500 for each count. Stay away from CVS at the 2555 Bolton Road location, and no alcohol, drugs, and weapons, Your Honor.
Okay. Next, E.B. Howard. I only said that because I'm still looking at you.
Yes, Judge, given the bonds, I mean, given the history that I've heard, Judge, I think the state's recommendation is reasonable. 3,000 signature bond through pretrial.
Okay. All right. I will order that $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, $1,500 on each charge. I'm going to order a stay away from the CVS at 2555 Bolton Road. Stay away from there, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond.
That'll be per judge.
Per judge, yes. All right, anything else? Nope,
Nothing further from us, Judge.
thank you. Next,
Next, Your Honor, we have position number 6, Mr. William Britt. Position 6.
this is 23 CR 0038885G, William Britt, charged of 1 count of criminal trespass and damage to property, pretrial.
26 total, 2021 probation. On probation in the cab for trafficking cocaine, possession of meth. 2020 probation, 2019 probation, 2018 FTA, 2016 terrorist threats conviction, 15 simple assault conviction, and a CWAC conviction from 03.
Okay. State.
Yes, Your Honor. So this incident occurred yesterday at 585 Dutch Valley Road, Northeast. And this is where officers received a suspicious person's call at the Galano Rehabilitation Center. And upon officers' arrival, they stopped and they talked to a male that was matching the description from the call. And the call informed officers that the defendant struck their front glass door with a metal rod, damaging the door. The warrant noted that there was a large baseball size impact on the door from the defendant striking it. So for these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $1,000 surety bond, a BHET, and to stay away from the Galano Rehabilitation Center at 585 Dutch Valley Road.
All right. PD Wells.
Thank you, Your Honor. My client is 42 years old. He reports that he is currently residentially challenged. I did request that a social worker speak with him and provide him with housing resources. He has no objection to staying away from the incident location, as well as with anyone who works there. He was there at the location attending an AA or NA meeting. I would object to a BHET at this time and speaking with my client. I do not feel that that is necessary, other than being provided the housing resources. I would request a signature bond at this time. And I've been notified by Mr. Howard that the social worker has spoken with Mr. Britt and provided him with the housing resources. I would request a signature on bond. Mr. Britt is currently unemployed, And if Your Honor is not so inclined, I would ask that his bond not be greater than $500.
Okay. I'm going to order, due to the history, the $1,000 surety bond. I'm going to order a stay away from 585 Dutch Valley, which is the Delano Rehab Center. I'm going to order a BHET, and I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
And Your Honor, the social workers have already spoken with Mr. Britt, and no services were determined that he needed outside of housing resources.
All right, I will remove the BHET then.
Thank you.
Mhm. What do we have next?
Next, Your Honor, we have position number 5, Mr. Beaver.
Okay. This is 23 CR 00388 Samuel Beaver, charged with 1 count of SB. Pre-trial.
16 total. Last arrest was in April, simple assault. You got an open battery DV in state court. Well, you got a couple of them. On probation for ag assault out of Cobb, 2022 probation, 2022 simple assault, family violence, 2016 simple battery DV conviction, 2013 battery DV NOLO, cruelty in the third NOLO.
Okay. State.
Yes, Your Honor. This is a cross warrant with the case from a bit earlier, Ms. Andrews. This occurred yesterday, June 19th, at the 201 Maury Avenue, apartment 1416. There are conflicting stories about what occurred, but the warrant on this case says that while the victim was sleeping, Ms. Andrews, Mr. Beaver began to grope her in the breast. The victim awoke with Mr. Beaver's arm around her. When she demanded he get off of her, he would not comply. And this, his relationship is, he is the boyfriend of the victim's mother. And they have 2 cases, 2 open cases between themselves. The mother is Michelle Jones. And in case he has 2 previous, stay away from that address, in case 22 CR 005516G, and then also 22 CR 000361G, both last year, and he is not following those bond instructions. We've had no cooling off period. So for these reasons, where the state is seeking a $3,000 cash bond, no future contact with Michelle Jones or Miss Andrews, a stay away from, again, that address, 201 Maury Avenue, apartment 1416, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. And at this time, if Miss Andrews we'd like to sound for any of the victims.
All right. Any victims in this case with Mr. Beaver? Any victims in this case? Go ahead.
And Your Honor, one final thing. The mother, who is the primary resident of the apartment, our office talked with her today, and her preference would be for neither her daughter or her boyfriend to be living there.
Neither of them, you say? Oh, is this the other case from the one we had before, right? And so I would order, obviously, the stay away in this one as well.
And I
We
do
talked,
see-
we talked about that already, but go ahead, PD Wills.
I do see Miss Michelle Jones on the Zoom.
Oh, we do? Let's see. Ms. Jones, do you wish to address the court today? Ms. Jones, do you wish to address the court today? Nope. All right, we'll keep moving.
Your Honor, just a few more details. The two stay away orders from last year were January 27th and August 18th.
Okay.
Your Honor, I just want to add that Your Honor issued one of those bonds. The January 27th, 2022 bond was issued by this court in Your Honor. And it included the stay away and no further contact, which he is now violated.
All right. What's the state's recommendation again?
Yes, it is a $3,000 cash bond, a no further contact with either Michelle Jones or Demia Andrews, a stay away from 201 Maury Avenue, and a no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
Okay. All right, PD Wills.
Your Honor, I would object to a cash bond in this case. Given what was placed on the record, I think my client understands that he is unable to return back to that residence. He is 52 years old. He has resided in the state of Georgia for 13 years. He is the owner of Atlanta Affordable Movers, and he has owned that company for the past 6 years. He will not qualify to be represented by the Public Defender's Office. He does have a high school diploma. He also was a member of the Army for 5 years. He has 3 children. He does deny the allegations as alleged, and states that the alleged victim, I believe her last name is Andrews, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, Ms. Andrews has made false accusations against him in the past. And that Ms. Andrews did threaten that if Mr. Beaver did not leave the location on this incident date, that she would kill him. And so there was a disagreement that was initiated by Ms. Andrews, but again, my client does deny inappropriately touching Ms. Andrews in any way. So I would ask for a signature on bond. If Your Honor is not so inclined, I would ask for $1,000 surety bond. And if Your Honor is not inclined to do that, I would ask for that $3,000 bond to be a surety bond as opposed to a cash bond.
I'm going to order a $3,000 cash bond. I'm going to order no further contact with Michelle Jones or Dania Andrews. I'm going to order stay away from that Maury Avenue address. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. Anything else?
Nothing from the defense.
All right.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you.
Your Honor, we got position number 19, Mr. Don Stan.
Okay. This is 23 CR 003867A. Don Stan, charged with 1 count of reckless conduct. Pre-trial.
First.
All right.
So,
Stay.
yes, Your Honor. So this incident occurred June 17th, 2023 at 1544 Piedmont Avenue. And this is where the defendant threw an unknown object at a police car, causing the officer to be on high alert, thinking that he was under attack from a threat. So for these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial services and to stay away from 1544 Piedmont Avenue, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
Give me that amount again.
It's a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial services.
Okay. All right, and the stay away, okay?
Yes.
PD Kim?
Yes, we have no objection to stay away nor signature on bond. We just would like to request for signature on bond through jail. This is his first offense ever. So we would like to request for signature on bond through jail. Thank you.
How old is Mr. Stanley?
I believe, I apologize, but my note does not. Give me 1 second, Your Honor.
Okay.
It should have it in the calendar.
He is 42.
Yes.
Thank you. Does he work?
No, it's not at this point, Your Honor. He has been unemployed, and we had social worker service visit him to provide housing resources.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to, the problem is if we don't have an address or don't have any way to reach him, how do I know he's coming back to court?
We gave him the Presbyterian Church free mailing address service. So he will set up a mailing account and he will be able to check it Monday through Thursday, if I remember correctly, 1 to 3 p.m.
Okay. All right. I will order the $2,000 signature bond through the jail. And no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And a stay away from 1544 Piedmont Avenue. Okay.
Thanks, Your Honor.
All right.
Next, Your Honor, we got position number 18, Mr. Yomar Smith.
All right. This is 23 CR 003897C. Yomar Smith, charge of 1 count of willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, speeding and driving while license suspended or revoked. Pretrial.
25 total. 2021 suspended license no low. 2021 probation. 2018 failure to appear. 2018 probation. He got a couple of probations from 2015. And it says he got an open Superior Court case, assault against law enforcement, possession of a controlled substance, possession of a knife for a firearm during the commission, reckless conduct and discharge of firearms near a public street or highway, 16 SC 143852. That's
Okay. State.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened on 5400 Fulton Industrial Boulevard Southwest. The defendant was pulled over for driving 66 miles per hour in a 45, was operating a vehicle while his license was suspended, and he refused to comply with the attending officer's instructions by not producing any ID, his name, or exiting the vehicle when he was requested. He's a multi-state offender. He was arrested on similar charges. I've recorded about 23 cycles out of Georgia and 1 out of Illinois. Arrest includes him being arrested for driving without a license, no insurance, no registration, and speeding in 2013. He was driving on a suspended license arrested for driving on a suspended license in 2020. Also arrested for driving on a suspended license in 2021. Has a probation violation in 2021. And Your Honor, for the bond recommendation, we are recommending a $3,000 surety bond, $1,000 per count, no driving without a valid license, and no alcohol, drugs, and weapons.
All right. PD Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Smith is 33 years old. He was born in Illinois. However, he has been here in Georgia for more than 20 years. He worked after graduating from high school successfully. He worked at Toyo Tires, North America. He worked as a carpenter. He also worked at food truck. He's trying to make a living as much as he can. However, his income is still not big enough. So he's not qualified. He's actually qualified for public defender services. So our team will continuously represent him, Your Honor. He does have all his family members here. Parents are here. His sister's here. He has ties to the community. He will come to the court to take care of his matters. And we would like to request for a signature on bond. Most of them are basically driving violences, and if Your Honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond, we would like to request for maximum $1,000 with bond. Thank you.
I am going to order a $3,000 surety bond, $1,000 on each of the charges. I'm going to order no driving except with a valid driver's license. Don't know if he has one at this point. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I think that's it. Is that it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, that will conclude this case.
Your Honor, what was the breakdown again?
1,000 on each, 3,000 surety.
Thank you.
Yep.
Next, we have position number 20, Mr. Albert Stanley.
Okay. I thought we already did Albert Stanley, no?
Did Stan.
Oh, wrong one. 23 CR 003892G. One count of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree and one count of battery, pre-trial.
30 total. He was arrested this
You
month.
said 30?
Yes.
Okay.
June 14th, crossing state county guard lines with drugs and weapons out of Douglas. That appears to be open. 2021 probation, 2017 failure to appear, 2017 financial transaction card theft, theft of lost mislaid property conviction, 2011 given false name conviction.
All right. State.
Yes, Your Honor. The officer arrived to a scene of dispute and spoke to Ms. Francie Selkirk, the victim, who stated that the cause of the event was a verbal dispute. The defendant apparently pointed a finger in Ms. Kirk's face and punched her in the lip. She stated that she wasn't going to be putting up with it no longer, and then he proceeded to punch her 5 more times, according to the police report. This caused Ms. Selkirk to have a chipped tooth and an injured lip. He begged the victim, Ms. Francine Selkirk, to not call the cops. And this all took place in front of their Ms. Selkirk's 6-year-old son. They don't share a son together, Your Honor, I'm sorry. The police report indicates that there's a, sorry about that. The police report indicated that once that they arrived, that the defendant, Mr. Stanley, had fled the scene. And the police report also indicates that Ms. Selkirk and the defendant are purportedly in a complicated relationship. He's had 31 cycles or 31 arrests in the span from all the way back from 1995 until this current year, Your Honor. He's had convictions such as a nolo contundere in 2008 to battery in Cobb County. He also had a guilty conviction of battery in 2009 in Cobb County. He was arrested for failure to appear in 2017 and a probation violation in 2021. For the bond recommendation, we're recommending a $5,000 surety bond, $4,000 for the battery, and $1,000 for the cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Well, the conditions being no further contact with Francine Selkirk and her son Tate Selkirk, no alcohol, drugs, and weapons, one-day anger awareness course, and we would like to sign for the victim at this moment, please, Your Honor.
Okay, is it Ms. Selkirk?
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Selkirk.
Okay, anyone on by that name, Ms. Selkirk? And give me the breakdown on the 5,000 recommendation.
Yes, ma'am. It was 4,000 for battery and 1,000 for cruelty to children.
Okay, all right. PD Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Stanley is actually 44 years old. He has been going through a very, very challenging time lately. Your Honor, after this incident, they have never spoken to each other and they have not lived together at all. Your Honor, he lost his son about 3 months ago when there was a fire to his place. So he lost almost everything, his personal belongings. He lost his son, his place. So he's right now going after his sister's place and hotel, and also he's staying in the car. So we already sent out social worker services to him to provide all the housing resources so that way he can take care of his 11-year-old boy right now, who is residing with him in different places, including the staying and sleeping in a car. So he does not have any, he has a very limited financial resources at this point. From February 20, 2023, he was not able to have any employment. So because of that, he is basically surviving with food stamps, $280 per month. And it is not enough to cover his basic necessity. Your Honor, he also has a heart failure. So he's got some very severe chronic medical conditions. We would like to request for signature on bond. This happened about 4 or 5 months ago. Stay away and no further contact is completely okay with my client, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
All right.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, you called my name, Francine Selkirk?
Yes. Do you wish to address the court today?
Yes.
If you do, I have to be able to see you.
Okay. Can you see me now? No.
A little bit. There you go. All right. I need to swear you in. Can you raise your right hand? Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
All right. And put your hand down. What would you like to say to the court today?
I spoke with someone this morning and I already came in and made a statement that I did not want to press charges, that I no longer wanted to pursue this. I wrote a statement last week and I spoke with someone that called from the Solicitor General's office this morning.
All right. And so you're not in fear, Mr. Stan, is that right?
Right.
Okay. All right. Any cross-examination by the state?
No, ma'am, Your Honor.
All right. Anything by PD Kim?
No, Your Honor. Nothing.
All right. All right. Go ahead, PD Kim.
I already went. I just want to emphasize that he is 44 years old. He lost his son at the fire. He's going through a very hard, financially very, very difficult time right now. So we would like to request for a signature on bond.
Okay. All right. I am going to order the $5,000 surety bond, which is $4,000 on the battery, $1,000 on the cruelty. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I'm going to order this happened on the 17th. No further contact with the victims in this case. And I don't know if the state was requesting a stay away or not.
Your Honor, this happened on February 6, 2023, Your Honor. Yeah, are we on the right case, Judge? It's position number 20 on the counter.
Right, and mine's Oh, it does say February 6th. I'm sorry. I keep looking at 19 versus 20. I will order no further violent contact with the victim. Anything else? No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond.
Your Honor, this will make his 11-year boy not to have a parent, and he does not have a place to go, Your Honor. He's willing to do anything and everything if he can get a possibly signature on bond, Your Honor.
And what was the state's position, or is the state against the signature bond?
We wanted the 5,000 surety bond, Your Honor.
I do know that there was significant history, correct?
Apparently they have a complicated relationship according to the police report, Your Honor. That's what they call it.
Mm-hmm. Only thing I'll do is I'll lower it to 4,000. And that will be the order of the court. I guess I would have to say, again, 3,000 on the battery, 1,000 on the cruelty. Sorry about that. I've got some heavy lightning and thundering going on here. Okay.
Yes,
I'm confused. You got me just confused that quick.
I'm sorry.
This is Miss Lewis. I'm kind of confused on so you say you just lowered it. So you're saying $1,000 on the surety, on the cruelty, and 3,000 on the battery, is a total of 4,000 now?
Yes.
Okay. And what was the conditions?
No drugs, alcohol, weapons or guns while on bond, and no further violent contact with the victim.
Okay, and there's no stay away.
No, I don't think the state asked for stay away, or did you?
So we didn't ask for a stay away because she no longer stays at the residence that was the incident location.
Right. So there was, yeah, you're correct, Ms. Lewis, no stay away.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anything else? Our next
I think
case?
further, Your Honor.
I'm sorry?
I think further, Your Honor.
Okay.
Gonna be position number 23, Mr. Tristan Yeomans. Yeomans.
This is 23 CR 003894B. Tristan Yeomans, charge of 1 count of battery family violence, pretrial.
This is fifth arrest, 2019 failure to appear, 2019 abusive sexual contact, 2019 hit and run. That's it.
All right, state.
Yes, Your Honor, this incident happened December 16th, 2022 at 907 Piedmont Avenue Northeast, Apartment 16. Michael Acree, I may be mispronouncing that, stated that he was assaulted by the defendant, his live-in boyfriend at the time. The defendant came into the kitchen where Mr. Acree was cooking and got into Mr. Acree's face, stating, "You will not bully me." And the statement was in relation to Mr. Acree trying to evict the defendant from the residence due to prior issues. Mr. Acree told the defendant he was free to leave, and at that point, the defendant struck him approximately 5 times with a closed fist. The officers observed swelling to the back of Mr. Acree's head, and the defendant unplugged a surveillance camera in the house, according to Mr. Acree. We do have 2 cycles out of Florida as well, a 2019 hit and run conviction and a 2019 failure to appear. We did have an opportunity to speak with Mr. Acree. He stated that he and the defendant were dating. They no longer live together. And he stated that the location is his residence. He also confirmed the events in the warrant and stated that that had never happened before. He has not had any contact with the defendant since this incident and wishes to continue to have no contact with the defendant. He also asked that the defendant stay away from his residence, and we would like to sound for Mr. Acree. The state's recommendation on this case, especially due to the history out of Florida and the FTA out of Florida, is a $3,000 surety bond. No further contact with Michael Acree. Stay away from 907 Piedmont Avenue Northeast, apartment 16. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons. And again, we would like to sound for Mr. Michael Acree.
Okay, Michael Acree. Michael Acree. And the state's recommendation was how much?
$3,000 surety bond, Your Honor.
All right. PD Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client, Mr. Tristan Yeomans, is 22 years old, and he does have a new mailing address, and he has been working with some kind of charter center for his housing resources. He also got a visitation from our social worker to get more information about the housing resources. He has been residentially challenged. However, he does not want to return to Michael Acree's place. He does not want to have any contact with him either. He denies the allegations, and he's very strong about going for not guilty, so that way he can prove his innocence for this job. He lost his job due to this particular incident, and at this point, he's qualified for public defender's services. We would like to request for a signature on bond. This happened December 16, 2022. No further contact. Stay away is completely fine with my client. Thanks.
Okay. All right, I'm going to order the $3,000 surety bond. I'm going to order no further contact with Michael, is it Acree, I believe?
Yes, Your Honor.
And a stay away from the incident location. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I think that is it. Anything else?
And
No,
nothing
Your
further
Honor.
from defense.
I will put the spelling of Mr. Acree's name as well as the address in the chat to the litigation manager.
I already
Okay.
got it. Thank you.
Got
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that was a $3,000 surety bond.
Correct.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we have Mr. Lucius Shropshire, position number 17. You done?
Your Honor, that's the case the state filed a null pros on.
Okay.
Bless you.
Miss Lewis, did you get that yet? I just sent it back, but it's thundering and lightning real bad. It's slow. I might need to send it a second.
It just came through. It
Just came through? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to multitask here, so please forgive me.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Got it? Okay. Yeah. All right, we're on, which one are we on?
That was Mr. Shropshire, but his case is.
Your case has been dismissed, Mr. Shropshire.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're
That
welcome.
was the last one, Judge.
That's
That was it?
That's all we have, Your Honor.
Okay, I thought we had 36.
36.
Yeah, that was the number I thought I heard in a minute. I said, did you say 36? And pretrial informed me that we do not, so.
Oh, I thought that was somebody's age. I was about to say happy birthday.
Happy birthday. That's correct. All right, have a good one. See you next time.
All right.
All right.
Well, y'all have a good evening.
You not staying with us?
No, I got everything I need.
Is it thundering downtown?
No, but I like to come to the counter.
It already rained down here.
Oh, well, it's this way. Okay.
We go out with any power.
I know. I kind of jumped a little bit. I didn't mean to jump, but I thought,
Well, if
wow.
y'all all ready, position
Yes,
number
ma'am.
one, defendant was released. The case is reset further notice. Position number two, is a $2,000 SOB through the jail. We set further notice. Position number 3 is a $2,000 surety. We set for the SAP. And a reminder, the SAP calendar date is July the 6th. Position number 4 is a $3,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. We set further notice. Position number 5 is a $3,000 cash bond. We set for SAP. Position number 6 is a $1,000 surety. We set for SAP. Position number 7 is a $4,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. We set further notice. Position number 8 is a total of a $3,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. We set further notice. Position number 9 is a $1,500 surety. We set for SAP. Position number 10 is a total of an $8,000 surety. We set for SAP. Position number 11 is a $5,000 surety. We set for SAP. Position number 12 is a total of a $3,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. We set further notice. Position number 13 is a $4,000 surety. We set for SAP. Position number 14 is a $5,000 surety. We set for SAP. Position number 15 is a $4,000 SOB through the jail. We set further notice. Position number 16 is a total of $2,500 surety. We set for the competency counter for June the 29th. Position number 17 was a null pros. Position number 18 is a total of a $3,000 surety. We set for SAP. Position number 19 is a $2,000 SOB through the jail. We set further notice. Position number 20 is a total of a $4,000 surety. We set for SAP. Position number 21 is a $2,000 surety. We set for SAP. Position number 22 is a $3,000 surety. We set for SAP. And position 23, a $3,000 surety. We set for SAP. Any questions, comments, or corrections?
Nope. Think you got it.
All right, Judge, I'll be sending those over to you right now.
Thank you. All right. Have a good one, everybody.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.